Hey guys, today we're going to continue our discussion of God's amazing. Last time we saw how God's love became creation. We saw how his love translates into mercy. Today I want to talk about sacrificial love, heroic love. Scripture says, "Greater love has no man than this, than to lay down one's life for his friends." Well, many years ago, I was blessed with the opportunity to actually experience sacrificial love. When I was a child, I lived with my family in a small town in the foothills of the Pocono Mountains. My dad was the town doc. He had built his office into a hillside, and the top floor he used for seeing his patients. The bottom floor he had made into a little apartment. It was kind of crowded because there were 5 of us children, plus mom and dad. But my mom was a nurse, very organized, and very good at schedules. One really chilly winter morning, my dad was in his room getting ready for work. My mom was making sandwiches, and us kids were getting ready. We're making our own breakfast. My younger brother decided he would make some eggs for himself. Kind of a big deal for him at the time. Well, when he finished, he was so proud that he didn't burn them or scorch them. He forgot to turn off the burner when he went to show my mother. I wanted cereal that morning, and I remember reaching over the stovetop into the cabinet, and that warmth from the stove, from the burner, really felt good. Walking over to the table, I reached back and pressed my nightshirt against my skin so I could savor that last little bit of warmth from the stovetop. Instead of a nice cozy warmth, I felt this strange pinching on my fingers. I couldn't figure out what it was, so I kind of looked back, and to my horror, there were flames shooting up my back. Now, in school, like everybody else, we were taught fire safety, and we were always told that if you ever caught on fire, first thing you do is you stop, drop, and roll. I didn't stop, drop, and roll. I screamed and ran. Not sure where I thought I was running to, but I ran. "Mommy, Mommy, I'm on fire, I'm on fire." My mom dropped everything, ran over to me, and grabbed that shirt to hold it away from my skin. She tried her darndest to get me to drop and roll, but I was so rigid with panic. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't bend. My dad heard the commotion. He came running out, and I remember the look on his face. His eyes were this big. I don't know if it was panic or shock or what was going through his mind at the time, but I just remember those big eyes. And he ripped that shirt off and stomped that fire out all in one motion. I ran crying back to my room. And after a while, my dad came back. And he kind of examined my back and told me how lucky I was that I only had first-degree burns. My mom wasn't so lucky. She had third-degree burns all over both hands. So I stayed home from school that day to help her out and to kind of recover. And it was a long, long time before she was able to use her hands again without severe pain. To this day, when one of us brings up that memory, she shrugs it off, saying, "Of course I did that. I wasn't going to let you get burned." My mother literally held fire in her bare hands to save me from being burned. That, my friends, is heroic love, sacrificial love. And it's just a small, tiny glimpse of that love that God has for us. Just as my mom deliberately held fire in her hands to save me, Jesus deliberately suffered torture, humiliation, and death to save us. Sacrificial love. Greater love has no man than this, than to lay down his life for his friends. this is what we are called to live.